So first thing we got to do is we got to take this vent off, and it's a little tight, so it required some prying. And in here, there's a couple nails, one right here, and likewise on the other side, one right there, one right there. Then this duct will fall down, and then we can get outstairs and take it apart. And flat blade screwdriver seems to work pretty good to get these nails loose. Sometimes you need a pry bar, but if you can see down there, prying it out, and then make sure they're out. And same thing on this side, just pry down beside it. Get a little leverage in there. Get the head started out, then it's not so bad. I don't want to go get a big flat blade, but I may have to. We shall see. I do have a little pry bar here. It's not the best one either, but we'll see if that works enough to. There you go. That might get it loose. Then if we push back on the metal, we got hopefully enough to get that one out. If there's enough to get this guy out of there without cutting your hands. Sorry, I apologize for the lack of light in there. Oh, there we go. That should work. And push that back. Maybe. We got enough to get that head. See how that head's sticking out there a little bit? We can get this. Be golden. Not so sure this will fit down in there. Pry that guy out of there. This hammer might be a smidge too big. Yeah. Might have to go get another tool to pull that guy out of there. Always one in the group. All the other ones came out. There we go. There we go. Now I should be able to get the hammer on the edge of it. Pull it out of there like that. And then this should push down in now that we're loose. Thank goodness. Okay, so now that we got the nails out, I just bent this side tab down, that side tab down a little bit. That'll give us the ability to squeeze this a little bit, as you can see down below. And then I'll go downstairs and I'll pull that down. We'll probably take a couple screws out of the duct so we can kind of work the ductwork out of there, and then we'll cut a hole, but I'll show you all that downstairs. So here's our duct right here. There's a screw right here. We're going to take that screw out. There's some wire in the way, which is going to be a little harder to work around. There's a screw right there. We'll go ahead and take that screw out as well. And then we should be able to pull this ductwork down and hopefully pull it down, push the boot off the front, and then pull this piece of pipe out, then get the boot out of there, and then we'll drill a hole to the outside in that rim joist right there, so we can extend the pipe out into that room. So that's the plan. So I'll get a flat blade screwdriver here, because these are flat blades, not hex heads, and I will get these taken apart. So here's this one. I'm kind of holding the camera with one hand and trying to do this, so we'll see how well this works out. So we'll get this screw out of here. Thank goodness there's only one. At least there's only one on the other side, not one at the top. And then there's one back here, which will take this guy apart as well. Yeah, just a little hard to do with one hand, but there you go. So those are out. So hopefully we can give this a little tuck down. A little harder than I thought it was going to be. Tuck down. Looks like it's free. And then we'll probably have to beat that a little bit to get it off. I had to last time as well. Give it a little motivation. Don't worry, I'm not reusing these bolts. Ooh, and there's stuff in the vent like crazy. But, and then what I had to do was, unfortunately, just totally destroy this vent to get it out of there, this boot. But, and this one's tight. And it might be a little problem with this stud in the way. So, we'll see what we do here. I'm gonna have to turn this off so I can get a better angle. And I'll let you know what I end up doing. Alright, so now we've got the heat duct off. Alright, we got this whole open space. It used to go upstairs right there. We're going to drill through that rim board using a 6 1/4 inch hole saw on this Craftsman heavy duty hammer drill. It's not super heavy duty, but it'll work. And basically I'm going to try to go about here, keep it as low as possible on there, but allow me enough room to get under these wires or over these wires and out the wall so I can get it in the floor before we pour it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so as you see, I've got the circle cut out. It's not all the way through. I'll go to the outside, poke it back through, but that's the pilot holes out there so I can put the drill bit from the other side in, cut that circle out, and then we should be able to stick our pipe through the wall and then hook it up. But before I do that, I need to fix this piece right here. So what I did on the other one is I cut a 2x6 and screwed it in on both sides here so I have something to nail this to. So that's what we're gonna go cut. I think it's 14 3/8 of an inch in between here, but I'll get my tape, we'll get a measure, and we'll get a board cut, and then we'll put a couple screws in it on each side, and that should hold the floor up here when I put a piece of OSB here and then the flooring on top so that we can get that floor level up there. But I'll show you how that works out as well. So you can see now that we have that board put in there in that one and also in this one, so we're ready for the flooring, which we could do in the middle, you know, in the evening inside. But we're going to go outside now, finish the hole through the rim board, shove the pipe through, then we'll come back in, get it all married up, and then we'll get the heat ducts ran under the concrete. Then we put the foam board out there. So stay tuned. Okay, I put you on my head camera here so that I can have my hands free and we can get this worked out here. But what we're going to do is we're going to plug this plug in, and then where that hole is in the wall, which I'm not so sure if you can see it very well, but it is right there. We're going to drill the rest of that the way through. So I need to get this plugged in the outlet I put in the other day, which is over here, so that we can drill this. You can already see the one duct is already through, and then this one is going to be right here as well. So we're going to probably need to pull a little gravel out of the way here. Get me down here. That is in the pilot hole. And just like that, we are through. I'll go ahead and unplug this for safety. And then this is our pipe. I went ahead and put the extension piece I need to get out here on it. And then we should be able to just slide that in there like so. And then I should be able to pull it through in the basement. And then we should be digging. But what I'm going to probably do before I do that is I'm probably going to remove a little extra gravel right here. So it's more like that one. So I can get that in there with ease and not be bound up. And yes, we already sort of packed this down, and then yes, I'm digging it back up. So, all right. So we don't want any of that bark in there, but that should. Yeah. I'm gonna go this way a little bit too. Give me a little wiggle room. And what we're doing is putting the heat run in the floor, so we'll have heat actually out here in this room. There. All right. And then we're gonna run ducts. I got some flex duct that I'll stick on there, and basically put the duct right about in here if all possible. We'll see if we can be below the grade, which is right there. It needs to be, the top of the duct needs to be level with that. We'll put tape on it and stuff so that all we gotta do is cut the tape off after the concrete's hard. But we'll float that to the top so that we're level and flush. So when I put my floor down, you can stick your grill on top of it, and it'll be in the concrete. It'll be a permanent pipe in the concrete, but the easiest way to get heat in this house was that way. I have no 2x6, 2x8 walls in this house, so no way to run it through the attic, and the only other option would be put a small heat exchanger out here, and there's no reason to do that. So once this is open, then these two heat ducts will heat this room, and it'll flow into the kitchen. Okay, and if not, I'll pop one in the kitchen off the run as well, so which is easy enough to do. So that's probably what we might end up having to do, but we'll see. So more to come on that, but let me get downstairs. We'll get this one put in, and I'll show you how we hook it all up in the basement. Okay, so our heat duct's through right here. We just got to work it over our wires, pull it in here, and then we have it mounted back up. And there is a screw hole in this, so I'm gonna try to put it back together. One thing I've noticed is this doesn't want to go back together. The other one didn't either, so I may have to slit it over the years. Oh, that one went right in. There we go. Like so. We're in. I did shut the vent off right now to the outside. It'll leak a little bit. This is where we put the kitchen in, the drain for the sink, water lines. So everything's tight and tucked up in here. And I ran PEX B in my whole house. I do need to get a clamp on that. I just noticed that. But I replumbed the whole house with mostly PEX B. There's a couple spots that are PEX A. But pretty much everything is totally redone. The wiring, I've been rewiring it. The gas line and the water line go out to the barn that you see there. So we'll talk about those improvements as well. Block is in, right? We got that in. We talked about that already. This is in. We will silicone up around that just to get it airtight for the night and stuff like that, but also to keep the concrete from splashing in. So anyways, that's where we're at. So let me get the parts for this. I'll get a couple screws. We'll put a couple screws in here, and then we'll tape this up, and I'll show you how I finish it. So there's a makeshift room down here, as you guys can see. My son sometimes stays, and this is where he stays. He likes his little man cave. So right there, I'm putting a couple screws in it. One's probably enough, but I tend to overdo. I like to keep it from coming apart later. So I got two. I got one more, so I might as well put it in there. Just like that. Now that's nice and solid. The other thing I like to do is tape that joint so we don't get any leakage. So we'll get the tape and be right back. So what I'm going to do is I separate the metal tape. This is just metal tape, and then kind of put it on where the seam is. The seam's going to be right where these wires are, but we'll work around it. So I just start, then I pull it, and I work it around. So I'm going to do that all the way around. There's no reason to record all that. I'm going to go all the way around the pipe, and then that'll give us a nice tight, airtight seal on the pipe, just so we don't lose heat. I mean, actually we're losing it out here in the basement, which is not a bad thing, but yeah. And if you see those big heavy gray wires, there used to be an electric furnace in the house, but I have free gas, so the furnace is now gas. So I left the wire. I just got to figure out how I'm going to neatly tidy all this up when we're done. But that's another project for another day.